Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my channel. My name is Melody. This channel is called Melody Ever After, where we talk about all things freaky, geeky, and spooky. But today, we're gonna get a little poopy. We're gonna get a little poopy too. Someone get Ice Spice on the beat. We're not talking about unsolved mysteries, serial killers, or road rage maniacs. Today, we are talking about one of the nichest and most disgusting human behaviors. That's right, we are going into the septic tank stalker zone. These people aren't just spies, they aren't just stalkers. These people infiltrate the underground sewage hellscape just to get a glimpse of something they know they shouldn't, trying to get a little peek at that chocolate third eye, if you know what I'm talking about. little butthole action going on. Why do they do this? And you might think I'm making this up. I am not. This has happened a lot. Somewhere in the darkest corners of and voyeurism content, where that avenue meets what the fuck are you doing street, it makes sense in their little twisted heads. And you know, I'm not here to yuck anyone's yum, but I think that's objectively gross. And even if you're into a little poop action, you gotta know it's gross, right? Like, that's a biohazard, okay? Surprisingly, people peeking in on the poop rooms of those that they are infatuated with is a fairly regular occurrence. Pun not intended. Today, we are diving headfirst into the 3 weirdest situations I have ever heard of in my life involving septic tank stalkers. It was February 28th of 1989, in a late afternoon of the mountain village called Miyakoji. A 23-year-old elementary school teacher finished her day and headed back to her dormitory. Kind of said that weird, dormitory. Now, this dormitory had a traditional Japanese toilet system called a squat toilet, which is essentially exactly what it sounds like. It's a hole in the ground. She glances into the squat pan and notices, deep down in the abyss, a shoe. She freaks out, goes outside, opens up the septic tank lid, and sees a body. He was completely naked from the waist up, his hands were crossed, and he was clutching a neatly folded, clean, dry shirt, okay? His face was facing the toilet hole, alright? Keep that in mind. Oh, also he was dead. Did I forget to say that? The body belonged to a man named Naoki Kano. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. He was a respected sales manager at a company supporting nuclear power plants. He was popular, reliable, and loved by many of the people in the village. The official police conclusion deducted that he died of hypothermia on that crisp winter morning, after trying to peep in on women who were using the squat toilet through the septic tank. Even though the official police ruling said that this was a peeping Tom incident, there apparently is some discourse on this because there were reportedly over 4,000 signatures of villagers who disagreed that he would do anything like this. Lots of people say that this man was very, very respected and revered in his community and he wouldn't do such a thing. One thing about men, they will stand up for each other like crazy. I know I'm coming off a little bit misandrist here, but hear me out. When I was in my freshman year of college, we were going over the Title IX stuff, which is like what to do if you are harassed on campus or whatever. One of the girls in my class, who I'm like distant friends with, I don't really know her that well, but she was like,
something happened to me the other day and I don't know if I need to report it to Title IX.
And our teacher's like, well, what was it? Are you comfortable talking about it? She's like,
it wasn't embarrassing or anything for me. This guy has been texting me and DMing me on Instagram, and I thought that he just liked me, but I have a boyfriend, so I keep turning him down, but he won't stop texting me.
And we're all like, okay. And so she says,
I was leaving my sorority house the other night, and he showed up at his truck with a baseball bat, and he chased me out of the sorority house to my car with the baseball bat, screaming at me.
And we were all like, what? And I kid you not, one of the guys in our class was like,
oh yeah, him? Oh no, I'm in a frat with him. He probably didn't mean it.
And we all looked at this guy, we were like, dude, she just said that he chased her with a baseball bat. And he's like,
yeah, he's a little weird, but like, I don't think he'd do anything like crazy.
We were all like, homie, that's a crime. Well, you know what I'm saying? Just because people said he was a good guy and stuck up for him didn't mean that he didn't do anything bad, okay? But there is some pretty damning evidence as to maybe this was a crime, okay? Aside from the fact that people signed a petition saying he wouldn't do that. One of the first pieces of evidence is that the septic tank was only 14 inches wide, whereas when they measured his shoulders, it was about 16 inches, and there was no inherent bruising showing that he pushed himself through the septic septic tank. Lots of people argue that it was physically impossible for him to contort himself into the space where he was, but I want to throw it out there that if someone shoved him through the pipes, like if this were foul play, there'd probably also be bruises on him. Either he did it himself or someone did it to him, but I feel like either way, if it was physically impossible for him to physically fit in there, there'd be bruises, right? So I don't know what that means. One of his shoes was found inside the septic area, and the other shoe was found nearby in a riverbed. So that kind of shows signs of like maybe foul play. He vanished on February 24th and was found on February 28th, and people say that he was parked nearby, a walking distance from this area, but the car was left with the ignition on. But people also say maybe he was abducted from his car, because if he intended on shoving himself into a septic tank, why would he leave the keys in the ignition? Why wouldn't he take the keys with him? There's a lot of weirdness going on with this case, I'm going to say, and whether it was foul play or a peeping Tom incident, police say peeping Tom incident, so that's what we're going with. Let me know what you think is going on down below. Now we're going to take a dramatic shift back over to my home country of the US of A. Help me! Help! Get me out of here, please! Back in 2012, a mysterious, anonymous man known as Septic Tank Guy posted a Craigslist ad offering to pay up to $120 an hour for him to have access to a septic tank. Anyone's septic tank. He wasn't picky.
Some might judge me for this, but it's what I enjoy. I will pay you $150 an hour to bring my equipment in and gain access to your septic tank. I then have my associate close the tank after I have set up my tripod and camera. Believe it or not, it is a great place to reflect.
People have later tracked this man to posting very odd videos on YouTube of him wearing a gimp suit and a supposedly kind of gimp-looking mask with like holes around the eyes and mouth, diving and splashing around in the poop. Why? Because the internet demands extremes, okay? We're gonna do it for the clickbait. That's gotta be what it is, right? Okay, cut the shit. Again, pun not intended. He wasn't doing this for notoriety because he's anonymous to this day. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say he probably wasn't doing it for the ad revenue. This guy probably had a scat. Again, YouTube hates it when I say that word. I can't even say it if I try. I can't do it. I can't do it, they'll demonetize me. Nonetheless, whether or not this guy was a complete freak, he was getting permission and paying people to enter their septic tank. So I gotta hand him that. Yay for consent. Great job, septic tank guy. He uploaded these videos to YouTube. The one that is floating around is called Septic Tank 5, and it shows him splashing around in poop. I kid you not, he's getting like poop in his eyes and mouth. I don't even want to show it. I said I don't want to show it. Stop. His identity is unknown to this day, but the video footage is nonetheless haunting. What do you think this guy's day job was? Because I'm gonna go out on a limb and say something it was fairly prestigious, like maybe like a dentist or a high school principal. That's why he had to wear the mask, you know? That's what the mask is! Next we have Kenneth Webster Enlow, the Tulsa turd diver. Hold your nose, folks, because literally this is a shit stream of human weirdness going on. 52-year-old Tulsa man, Kenneth Enlow, wheeled himself into a septic tank at a public park back in 2013. Man, 2012, 2013, that was just the year of poop, wasn't it? Like that little era. Early 2010s. That's the poop era, I guess. He set up shop underneath the septic area of a public women's restroom at a recreation area near Keystone Lake in Oklahoma. He tried to peek up at a mother and 7-year-old daughter who were trying to relieve themselves going to the restroom when Kenneth was actually spotted by a 7-year-old girl. That would be giving me nightmares if I saw that as a child. I feel horrible for her. Mommy, there's a man in the toilet. What do you mean there's a man in the toilet? Oh my God, there is a man in the toilet. Can you imagine the trauma? He tried to leave the sewage area, but reportedly got stuck. And when fire and rescue arrived, they found the man's head and shoulders sticking out of this toilet. I don't know what kind of toilets you guys got. I get the squat one in Japan was kind of just a hole. But like my toilet at my house, for anybody who wants to maybe set up camp in my septic tank, I'm just letting you guys know right now, there's no way you can see anything through my toilet because the hole is like this big. Okay, it's at an angle in the back of the toilet. Like, I don't know what kind of toilets you guys have where head and shoulders can fit out of it. I just want to go out on a limb here and say if there are any Gen Alpha kids watching this, first of all, maybe don't. The grown-ups are talking. This is not for you to hear. Secondly, I'm gonna have to ask you guys to stop laughing, because this isn't funny. None of you go trying to recreate Skibbity Toilet at home, okay? Because it's not gonna work. You're either gonna get stuck and die, or you're gonna get arrested on peeping Tom charges, okay? After being told out, Inlo told the officers that his girlfriend, who supposedly went by the name of Angel, had hit him in the head with a tire iron, knocked him out, and then drove him to the recreation area, dumping him into the toilet tank approximately about 30 minutes before the mother and daughter arrived. Investigators, however, found no fresh injuries that would ever insinuate that he was hit with a tire iron, and medical evaluation at the hospital found that there was no head trauma. It came out that he did have voyeurism intent and he did want to watch women poop. That's great. He was sentenced to the maximum 1-year sentence in prison with a $5,000 fine under Oklahoma law for a peeping Tom misdemeanor. Although it was proven that he did have voyeuristic intent, Inlo did not have to register as a sex offender. Oh, criminal justice system fails again. As we have discussed, peeping Toms sneaking into the backs of toilets and septic tanks are surprisingly common. I mean, I'm not gonna say it happens to everyone, alright? I'm not gonna say that 1 in 5 homes has someone in their septic tank right now. Anyway, that's disgusting. Hello, invasion of privacy. I hope you enjoyed this disgusting video, you disgusting, nasty little freak. One thing I want to say is let's keep these comments normal. Sometimes my videos blow up out of nowhere, sometimes they get 38 views, but regardless, I would like to not talk about anybody's poop fantasies in the comment section. Let's keep that to ourselves. That's inside talk, okay? I hope you enjoyed this video. My name is Melody. We talk about unsolved mysteries, horror movies, all things freaky, geeky, and spooky. If that sounds like it would interest you, maybe check out my channel. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Until next time.